There are days when it feels impossible to move. The alarm rings and sunlight floods your room, but you're lying there motionless as if an invisible weight is pressing you down. It's not laziness and it's certainly not weakness. It's something deeper, something that many won't understand. You might feel trapped, stuck in your own body, unable to rise, unable to push through another moment. The world around you is moving, but you feel paralyzed, unable to respond to the demands of the day. You want to get up, you know you should, but the truth is the weight on your soul is heavier than you can carry right now. And even though your body might be lying still, something is happening deep inside. This isn't ordinary fatigue. This is spiritual exhaustion. If you found your way to this video, I want you to know that it's no accident. You're not here by chance. You are a chosen one quietly fighting a spiritual battle that few can see, but it's taking everything out of you. Right now, your bed has become your battlefield. Your room has become a cave of isolation where you wrestle with thoughts, emotions, and a sense of weariness that never seems to leave. The battles you're fighting are not visible to others. They can't hear the voices in your mind, the ones that tell you you're not enough. They don't see the crushing weight pressing on your chest, making it hard to even breathe, let alone get out of bed. What they see is you lying there and they assume you're resting, but they don't understand the battle happening beneath the surface. And here's the truth this moment. This time when you feel like you can't move or fight any longer, it's not your defeat. It's your preparation. You're being prepared for a breakthrough bigger than you could ever imagine. And I want you to hear this clearly. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are exhausted, yes, but you are also incredibly strong. The fact that you are still here, that you haven't given up yet, is proof of your resilience. What others see as stillness, heaven sees as resistance. And in this stillness, in this exhaustion, God is with you. He's not judging you for being tired. He's not scolding you for feeling overwhelmed. He's sitting beside you in the dark and he's holding your hand, even when you feel like you're alone. Before we dive deeper, I want to ask you to do something. If this message is already resonating with your spirit, take a moment right now to hit the like button. It means something to those who need this message, and it helps others find it too. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. This space is specifically created to support you on your spiritual journey. And most importantly, drop a comment below with 99. The number 99 represents divine completion, the end of a season of hidden struggles, the end of spiritual battles no one else could see, and the start of something new. This number is a declaration of restoration. So if you're feeling this message in your spirit, comment 99 to mark your journey toward healing. But let's talk about what's really happening in your life right now. What most people don't understand is that the exhaustion you're feeling is not just physical, it's spiritual. It's the invisible weight of carrying burdens that no one else can see. You're not lying in bed because you're lazy, and you're not withdrawing because you've given up. You're there because you're fighting to stay human in a world that has tried to break you down at every level. You've been fighting battles that no one else has seen. You've saved yourself in the dark again and again without applause or recognition. People don't know the times you felt like you couldn't take another step, and yet somehow you kept going. They tell you to just shake it off, to pray harder, to get up. But they don't understand how heavy it feels to even attempt to rise when every ounce of strength has been drained from you. They don't know how exhausting it is to pray when it feels like your prayers are lost in a void unheard. They don't see the silent battles waging inside you, the battles against discouragement, hopelessness, and the feeling of being utterly alone. And yet you keep going even when it feels like you're drowning. You show up, you smile, you keep moving forward, and no one even knows how much it's costing you. But here's the thing, what the world sees as weakness, heaven sees as strength. And your silence, your stillness, your inability to rise in that moment, it's not a sign of failure, but of spiritual warfare. Sometimes the greatest battles are fought in stillness. Sometimes the greatest victories come without a single move. You don't always have to fight with a sword in your hand. Sometimes your greatest weapon is your ability to stay alive for one more day, to take one more breath, to refuse to give in to the darkness even when everything inside of you screams to just give up. This is not your defeat. It's the preparation for the breakthrough that's coming. You are not just surviving, you are resisting. And in this quiet place, God is with you and He is strengthening you. If this is resonating with you right now, I encourage you to take a moment to share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. They might be in their own spiritual battle, feeling isolated and exhausted, and your sharing could be the breakthrough they've been waiting for. Let's stand together, chosen ones, and rise up with the strength that only comes from God. Tis easy for others to see the stillness, the unmoving body, the person lying in bed seemingly doing nothing. To an outside observer, it might look like laziness or apathy. But what they fail to see is the unseen battle taking place beneath the surface. There's a fight happening that isn't visible to the naked eye, a war within your soul that's just as real as any physical struggle, but infinitely more taxing. The weight of the world presses down on you, and yet no one can see the strain. They don't know the emotional toll it takes to simply exist in a world that never stops moving, a world that demands more than you can give. They can't see the invisible burdens, the moments of doubt and despair, or the internal warfare that has drained you of everything. In this moment, when you feel unable to rise, when your body feels paralyzed by exhaustion, it's not laziness, it's not weakness, it's survival. Staying in bed, even though the world continues on around you, is not a sign of defeat. It's a fight to preserve your humanity. The world tells you to keep going, to push through, to ignore the internal battle and just get up. But the reality is, there are times when the fight isn't visible and the exhaustion isn't something that can be shaken off. It's a deep spiritual depletion that wears down the very core of who you are. This battle is often fought in silence. The enemy doesn't always strike in dramatic, visible ways. Instead, it comes in the form of whispers, voices that tell you that you're not enough, that you've failed, that you're broken beyond repair. It's the constant barrage of self-doubt that weighs heavily on your soul, reminding you that no matter how hard you try, you can never measure up. And those whispers grow louder in the stillness of your bed, where the distractions of the world are muted, and all that remains is the quiet, persistent ache of your soul. No one hears these whispers but you. No one feels the suffocating pressure pressing down on your chest, making it feel as though you can't breathe. And yet you keep fighting. You keep pushing back against those voices, even when it feels like your strength is gone. This is the internal battle, the emotional toll of always giving without receiving, of caring for others while neglecting your own needs, of being strong for those around you when you feel like you're crumbling inside. You give and give, but there's no one to hold you when you need it most. You're constantly lifting others up, but there's no one there to pick you up when you fall. And in this exhaustion, it's easy to start questioning your worth. The weight of emotional labor, the constant caring, the endless sacrifices begins to erode your sense of self. You feel like a vessel being emptied with no one to fill you back up. And in that emptiness, the battle rages on unseen and unacknowledged. But I want to remind you, chosen one, that this fight is not in vain. The fact that you are still here, still breathing, still existing, even in the face of overwhelming exhaustion, is a testament to your resilience. This battle, though hidden from the eyes of others, is a sign of your strength. It may not feel like it right now, but the act of staying alive, the act of resisting, is a powerful statement to the world and to the forces that seek to break you. The enemy may try to make you feel like giving up is the only option, but the fact that you've held on this long is a victory in itself. Resistance as a weapon. So let's shift our perspective. What if we saw the act of staying alive, the act of pushing through the pain, as a weapon in the spiritual battle you're fighting? It's easy to think of resistance as something grand, something that happens in the heat of battle with swords drawn and enemies defeated. But the most powerful acts of resistance are often the quiet ones. It's the decision to stay alive for one more day, to breathe again tomorrow, to not answer the darkness when it calls your name. It's in those moments of stillness, when you feel like you have nothing left to give, that you are doing the most profound work of all. The Bible gives us several examples of individuals who, even in their deepest moments of exhaustion and despair, continued to resist the enemy and press forward in their spiritual journey. Take Elijah, for example, the prophet who called down fire from heaven and stood boldly against false prophets. Yet after all his victories, he found himself hiding in a cave, overwhelmed by fear and despair, asking God to take his life. Elijah was exhausted. He was spiritually depleted. And yet God didn't abandon him. Instead, God sent him a message of renewal and restoration. Jeremiah, the weeping prophet, is another example. He endured immense spiritual fatigue, suffering through rejection and despair, as he delivered messages of judgment and hope to the people of Israel. Jeremiah's battles were internal as much as external, and he wept for a broken world that rejected God's message. But in his tears and in his exhaustion, he didn't give up. He pressed on even when the road seemed impossible. And then there's Jesus, the ultimate example of endurance and resistance. Even he, the Son of God, faced moments of deep spiritual fatigue. In the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus was overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of sweating blood, crying out to God for strength to face the coming crucifixion. If even Jesus, with all his divine power, experienced such exhaustion, why should you feel guilty for your own weariness? Let these examples be a reminder to you. Spiritual fatigue does not make you weak. It is a sign of the immense strength it takes to face these battles, to stand firm in the midst of overwhelming pressure. When you feel like you're at your breaking point, know that you are in good company. The greatest spiritual warriors, the ones who made the biggest impact for the kingdom, were also the ones who experienced the deepest battles. And just like them, your fatigue is not a reflection of your weakness, but a testament to the strength it takes to keep fighting even when you're exhausted. Performance versus true strength. Now let's address a lie that many people, especially in spiritual communities, often believe. It's the idea that true faith, true strength means always being in motion, always moving forward, always performing. There's this pressure to act as though everything is okay, to put on a brave face, and to show up no matter how you're feeling inside. We live in a culture that equates busyness with success and motion with strength. But let me tell you something, this is not the truth. The constant need to perform, to keep moving, to prove your worth through action can lead to burnout. It can strip you of your humanity and leave you feeling more disconnected from yourself and from God. This kind of performance is not faith, it's a facade. True faith is not about always having the right words or the right actions. It's about vulnerability. It's about showing up when you don't have it all together, when you're struggling, when you're tired, and when you're unsure. God does not require perfection. He does not require you to be always moving, always striving, always performing. What he desires is honesty. He desires a heart that is open, that can say, I am tired, I am struggling, I need your help. God sees your vulnerability as a sign of strength, not weakness. When you are willing to admit that you need rest, that you can't keep going without his strength, you open the door for his grace to flood in. We need to break free from the idea that true spiritual strength looks like constant motion. True strength comes when you are able to rest in God's presence, when you can acknowledge your exhaustion without shame. It's in the moments of stillness that God can truly work in you. It's in those quiet moments when you're not performing for anyone else that you can hear His voice, feel His love, and experience His restoration. So if you're in a place right now where you feel like you're not moving, where you feel like you're stuck, know that this is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of your strength. It's a sign that you've been fighting a battle so deep, so personal, that it requires moments of stillness to heal. And in that stillness, you are not wasting time. You are allowing God to do His work in you. The truth is, you don't need to perform to prove your worth. You are worthy just as you are in your exhaustion, in your brokenness, in your stillness. God sees you. He knows your heart, and He is with you in every moment, whether you're moving forward or lying still. And in this stillness, something profound is happening. You're not just waiting for the battle to end, you're being prepared for the breakthrough that is coming. As we continue this journey, I want to invite you to look at rest in a completely new way. Rest is not just about taking a break or allowing your body to recuperate. It's so much deeper than that. In the context of spiritual warfare, rest becomes a sacred act of surrender. Too often we think of rest as something optional, something we can only indulge in once we've accomplished everything on our to-do list or when we've run out of steam. But the truth is, rest is not just a pause, it's an invitation. It's an invitation to stop fighting for a moment, to release the weight of trying to handle everything on your own, and to surrender it all to God. It's easy to feel like you have to carry everything by yourself. There's this constant pressure to be strong, to be the one who holds it all together, the one who never breaks. But that's a lie. Even Jesus, in His most profound moment of struggle, needed help. When He was on His way to the cross, weighed down by the burden of humanity's sin, He fell under the weight of His own cross. And in that moment of exhaustion, God sent someone to help Him carry it. Simon of Cyrene was chosen to step in to take some of the burden and help Jesus along the way. If Jesus, the Son of God, needed assistance in His darkest hour, why do we think we should be able to handle everything on our own? Rest is not a sign of failure. It's a necessary act of surrender to God's will and God's strength. It's an acknowledgement that you cannot carry everything by yourself and that you were never meant to. There are moments when the best thing you can do in the midst of spiritual warfare is to stop fighting with your own strength and rest in God's presence. In those quiet moments when you feel like you can do no more, God is not absent. He is present, waiting for you to surrender it all to Him. He is ready to carry the weight that you've been trying to shoulder alone. But you have to stop and rest to let Him do so. Rest in the midst of battle isn't a retreat. It's a strategic act of spiritual warfare. It's an act of faith to acknowledge that God's strength is greater than yours and that His presence is sufficient to carry you through. The world will tell you to push, to strive, to keep going no matter what. But God tells you to pause, to breathe, and to trust that even in your stillness, He is working. The rest you experience in these moments isn't just physical. It's a declaration that you are trusting God to fight for you, to fight on your behalf, and to restore you for the next phase of the battle. God's presence in the darkness. Now let's explore something that may feel hard to grasp in the depths of exhaustion. God's presence in the darkness. In the times when you are at your lowest, when you feel like you've given everything and have nothing left to give, I want you to know that God is there with you. He is there when you feel isolated, abandoned, and misunderstood. He is there when the battle feels too heavy to bear and when you lie in your bed completely drained, wondering if anyone even sees the war you are fighting inside. The bed you lie in, the place where you feel most vulnerable is not just a place of isolation. It is a battlefield, a sacred space where the most profound spiritual victories are often won. While the world might see your stillness as weakness, heaven sees it as a place of battle and surrender. It's in the moments when you are physically still that God is at work within you, fighting unseen battles, strengthening your spirit, and preparing you for the next stage of your journey. Think of the bed as an altar. In the silence of that sacred place, you are laying down everything, your fears, your doubts, your burdens, and offering them to God. It may feel like you are doing nothing, but in reality, you are surrendering to the very presence of God, allowing Him to fight for you, to heal you, and to restore you. The enemy wants to make you believe that your stillness is failure, that your exhaustion is defeat. But in truth, it's in those moments of stillness that God is at His most powerful in your life. You are not lying there in despair. You are lying there in preparation. You are on the threshold of a breakthrough, and while it may not feel like it right now, your surrender is the first step toward your restoration. Sensitivity as a divine gift. Now let's talk about something that might feel like a curse at times, but is actually a profound blessing: your sensitivity. If you've been a chosen one, you know exactly what I mean. You are spiritually wired to feel things that others don't. You sense the unspoken burdens of others. You feel the weight of the world's pain even when no one else seems to notice. You pick up on emotional shifts, on the energy of a room, on the things people try to hide. This sensitivity can feel overwhelming, like a constant flood of emotions that you can't control. It can leave you feeling drained, as though you're carrying burdens that weren't meant for you to bear. But in reality, this sensitivity is a divine gift. It is a key to perceiving what others cannot see, to hearing the whispers of heaven when the world is deafened by noise. This heightened sensitivity means that you are tuned into spiritual frequencies that others might miss. You can sense when something is off in the atmosphere, when someone is in pain, when there's a shift in the spiritual realm. You are spiritually awake, spiritually charged, and this ability to discern the unseen is a gift that God has entrusted to you. But just like any gift, it comes with a cost. The emotional toll of carrying this sensitivity is real. It can be draining to constantly feel the weight of others' pain, to be constantly aware of the spiritual battles happening around you. It can feel like you are absorbing the world's sorrows and carrying them on your own shoulders. And because of this, there's a deep need for rest, a need to recharge and release what you've absorbed. In the same way that your sensitivity is a divine gift, it's also a reminder that you cannot carry it alone. Just as Jesus had to rest, just as He needed the support of others to carry His cross, you too must acknowledge the need for rest and rejuvenation. The burden of your sensitivity is not something you were ever meant to carry in isolation. You were designed to feel deeply, to discern, to be spiritually alert, but you were also designed to lean on God for the strength to carry this gift. You are not weak for needing rest. You are not broken for feeling drained. You are simply carrying a divine calling that requires moments of pause, moments of surrender. Your sensitivity is not something to be ashamed of. It's something to be cherished, to be embraced. But to fully handle this gift, you need to create space for spiritual rest, to sit in God's presence and allow Him to restore you. So if you are feeling overwhelmed by the weight of your sensitivity, if you are feeling like the emotional and spiritual burdens you carry are too much, I want to remind you it's okay to rest. It's okay to take a step back, to surrender, to allow God to recharge your spirit. When you rest, you are not retreating from the battle. You are preparing for the next phase. Your sensitivity is a spiritual weapon, and like any weapon, it requires care and maintenance. Rest allows you to be replenished, to be recharged, so you can continue to use your gift to discern, to lead, and to heal. the invitation to surrender. So as you lie there in your bed, feeling exhausted, feeling drained, I want you to see it as a sacred invitation. It's an invitation to stop fighting in your own strength. It's an invitation to surrender everything to God, your exhaustion, your burdens, your sensitivity, your spirit. In this stillness, you are not retreating. You are preparing for the next stage of your journey. And as you surrender, God will meet you there. He will restore you, He will strengthen you, and He will prepare you for the battles ahead. Rest is not the absence of strength, it is the foundation of it. And in that rest, in that surrender, you will find a strength that is not your own, a strength that comes from the very presence of God. Even in the deepest exhaustion, even when it feels like every ounce of strength has been drained from your body and spirit, you are still connected to your purpose. Your destiny hasn't changed. The calling on your life hasn't been canceled, and the mission you were created for is still unfolding. You may feel overwhelmed, isolated, and disconnected from your own strength, but I want to remind you today that you are not finished. Even in your most tired, worn-out state, you are still moving forward. You are still being prepared for what's ahead. The enemy's greatest fear is not your fall, it's your comeback. When you feel like you've reached your lowest point, when the weight of the world has knocked you down, the enemy wants you to believe that your story is over. He wants you to stay stuck in the place of defeat, to believe that you can't rise again. But I'm here to tell you that the enemy is terrified of what will happen when you rise. Every time you get back up, every time you push past the exhaustion and take even the smallest step forward, you become a living testimony of God's power to restore, to heal, and to redeem. Your assignment, your purpose cannot wait. It doesn't matter how weak you feel or how long you've been fighting. What matters is that you are still here, still breathing, still moving. Even if it's one small step at a time, even if it feels like progress is slow, keep moving forward. Rise, not because you have it all together, not because you're fully healed or completely restored, but because your destiny is waiting for you. The world needs what you carry, and God has equipped you to rise again stronger than before. Every tear you've shed, every moment of heartache, every breakdown, and every moment of exhaustion is not wasted. These are the moments that God is using to shape you, to refine you, and to prepare you for the purpose He has designed you for. You may not understand the weight of your struggle right now, but trust me when I say it is not in vain. These moments are forging something powerful within you. They are molding you into the person who will rise up and fulfill your divine calling. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. The process of becoming who God has called you to be is not always easy. In fact, it's often the hardest thing you'll ever do. But know this, each challenge you face, each difficulty, each trial is part of the journey toward your greater purpose. It's making you stronger. It's making you wiser. It's making you more resilient. And when you rise, you will rise with a power that can only come from having endured, having persevered, and having trusted God through the darkest of times. I want to encourage you today. Chosen one, do not give up. The pain you're feeling, the fatigue you're experiencing, the discouragement that weighs you down, it's all part of the process. The very thing that feels like it's breaking you is actually building you up. Every struggle, every setback, every moment of weakness is an opportunity for God's strength to be made perfect in you. So rise. Rise not because you feel strong, but because you trust that God will provide the strength you need to keep going. Your journey is not finished. It is just beginning. The road ahead may be long, and it may not always be easy, but it is leading you to something greater than you can imagine. You may feel like you've been in the trenches for a long time, but I promise you, God is using every step of the way to refine you, to prepare you for what's next. Your story is not over, it's just beginning to unfold in ways you can't yet see. Let me affirm something for you, chosen one. You are stronger than you realize. You have fought battles that others can't even begin to comprehend. You have withstood storms that would have broken most people. And though the road has been hard and the journey has often felt like too much to bear, you have made it this far. That alone is a testament to your resilience, to your inner strength, and to the unwavering hand of God that has been with you through every high and low. So, no matter where you find yourself right now, whether you're still lying in bed feeling overwhelmed, or whether you've taken the first steps toward rising again, I want you to remember that you are not alone. You have not been abandoned. God is with you, and He is empowering you to rise even when you feel like you can't. Your strength comes from Him, and He is never far from you. He is beside you in your darkest moments, waiting for you to surrender your weariness to Him so He can restore you. I'm speaking to you right now, Rise, not because you feel ready, but because you are called. Your purpose is still waiting for you, and it cannot wait any longer. The world needs your light. It needs your strength. It needs your story. Even in your weakness, you are empowered by the strength of God to move forward, to rise again, and to fulfill the purpose you were created for. Take one step today, even if it's small, even if it's slow. Just rise, and as you rise, you will feel God's presence more deeply than ever before. You will see that the strength you've been searching for was always there, waiting to be tapped into. The journey is not over, it's just beginning. And when you rise, everything changes. The world will feel it, the enemy will tremble, and heaven will celebrate the warrior that you are becoming. You are becoming the version of yourself that God always intended you to be. Every challenge, every tear, every struggle has been shaping you for this moment. So rise, chosen one, because your time has come. Your purpose is unfolding, and with each step you take, the earth will know that a warrior has just stood up. Your story isn't finished. It's just getting started. Rise,